People are saying they were wearing something that looked like suicide vests. They've been described as fake by some accounts, but maybe just malfunctioning by other accounts. Also, eyewitnesses say they were screaming out, God is great, Allah Akbar. No confirmation of that, but that is all feeding into this narrative coming from the Prime Minister's office, coming from the police office, that this is being treated absolutely as a terror attack.
They are bound together by the single evil ideology of Islamist extremism that preaches hatred, sows division, and promotes sectarianism. It is an ideology that claims our Western values of freedom, democracy, and human rights are incompatible with the religion of Islam.
All right, let's bring in Katie Hopkins now, a global columnist for the DailyMail.com. Get her take on the Prime Minister's speech a short time ago to the people of the United Kingdom. Katie, nice to see you this morning. How do you think her speech resonated? Do you think it hit the mark, or did it miss?
It missed the mark. I mean, we were relieved. I think I was relieved she didn't come out and say the stuff that our London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, has been saying. Sadiq Khan has said, you know, we stand united. London is the safest city on the planet, maybe, that we carry on as normal. He's still saying the same old stuff, even as London Bridge has fallen down on his watch. But at least Theresa May came out and said, enough is enough. What she hasn't done, what she didn't do, is tell us what we need to hear. And that is that things are going to change completely. That tomorrow, 3,000 people on the watch list are going to be rounded up. We need to hear that 650 jihadis that return to the UK are going to be incarcerated and deported. And we need to hear that Saudi-backed mosques and extreme hate preachers and imams within those mosques are also going to be shut down and deported. That's what regular British people want to hear, what I want to hear. And it is not enough to say we will win against terror, because if this is terror losing, then victory is meaningless, because this is horrible.
Katie, you're right. I mean, Sadiq Khan did not mention radical Islamic terrorism.
Well, there aren't words to describe the grief and anger that our city will be feeling today. I'm appalled and furious that these cowardly terrorists will deliberately target innocent Londoners and bystanders enjoying their Saturday night. There can be no justification for the acts of these terrorists, and I'm quite clear that we will never let them win, nor will we allow them to cower our city or Londoners. I want to say this, though: the emergency services reacted heroically and brilliantly last night. Not only did they tackle the terrorists, but they helped the injured. And as a result of their swift action, few people have died than would otherwise be the case, but also the severity of the injuries are less bad than they could have been. Look, I've been the mayor now for 13 months, and that reinforces my view we have the best police and security services in the world. They plan, prepare and rehearse for these sorts of incidents, and we saw their swift response last night. We saw the speed with which they shot the terrorists, and also how they helped the injured as well. There are certain things I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but I'm sure after the government COBRA meeting later, which I'll be attending, the head of counter-terror and others will be able to tell the public what's going on. I would say this, though: people should remain calm and vigilant, carry on their normal business. The threat level remains that severe. And that's assessed by JTAC, who are independent intelligence experts. Severe means an attack across the country is still highly likely, and so we've got to all be vigilant. If we see anything suspicious or are worried about anybody, please report it to the authorities. Well, just like terrorists are constantly evolving, finding new ways to disrupt us, harm us, attack us, the police and experts and all of us are finding new ways to keep us safe. Londoners will see an increased police presence today and over the course of the next few days. No reason to be alarmed. One of the things the police and all of us need to do is make sure we're as safe as we possibly can be. I'm reassured that we are one of the safest global cities in the world, if not the safest global city in the world. But we always evolve and review ways to make sure that we remain as safe as we possibly can. One of the things that these terrorists want to do is to disrupt our way of life. They want to stop us enjoying the freedoms that we have, enjoy us mingling and mixing on a Saturday night in the heart of London, having a good time. They want to stop us voting on Thursday in the general elections and enjoying the democracy that we have. We can't allow them to do that. We aren't going to be cowed by terrorism, nor will we let them win. And we've shown in previous years and previous decades our stoicism, and we'll show that again today over the course of the next few days and weeks.
Theresa May did say we need to have uncomfortable, embarrassing conversations because there's too much tolerance of extremism, referring to the Muslim community. If the mayor of London, himself a Muslim, is unwilling to start that conversation, how is it going to start?
It is not going to start. We need to have much more than uncomfortable conversations. You know, we were told after the last attack just a few days ago by the head of UK's anti-terrorism unit. He said, look, we've rounded up the individuals responsible. Go out and enjoy yourselves. Well, you know what? Last night, that's exactly what people were doing. They were out in restaurants. They were out in bars. And a man from New Zealand was stabbed through the face, is now in a coma in hospital. An Australian lady had her throat slashed. Others were stabbed repeatedly with a 12-inch knife-bladed weapon. You know, our mayor here, Sadiq Khan, was sworn in on the Quran. He will not call this as Islamic extremism. He will not be honest about the problem we face. And until you can be honest about your problem, you have no hope of dealing with it. I can tell you people are forlorn. You know, people say we are not cowed. We are cowed. We are broken. Regular families are forlorn that we are broken Britain. It is time for British people to stand up and demand action.
Yeah, we've got to get over the political correctness. I totally agree with you there. We heard that from President Trump in his tweet just a few moments ago. We had you on the show on Friday, Katie, talking about climate change. I mean, that's what we thought we were going to wake up and talk about today. That has been the focus where you are over in Europe, that for many people, that is the #1 issue for them. And here we are once again waking up to a horrific terror attack.
It's unbelievable. For us, you know, climate change is way, way down the back of the queue. I mean, Trump did the right thing. He showed true leadership in exposing that agreement for the fraud that it was. But for most of us today, it's about calling your loved ones, checking they're safe. I've had texts from my parents asking me to stay out of London today. I've had texts from my own children asking when I'll be home. And I've also heard conversations from a lot of people talking with their partners about how they get out of London, how they will not come near London. So contrary to the messaging that this is a safe city, a safe country, that is not how people here feel. They fear for their lives, they fear for their children's lives, and we have to step up and we need to start incarcerating, deporting, repeating until we clean this country up.
So that's what, I mean, talk about the nuts and bolts of this. Nigel Farage on the show a short time ago, bringing up the word internment, bringing up the specter here in the United States of internment camps, Japanese internment camps. You're mentioning deportation and rounding up and mass incarceration. What would that look like? I mean, do you think that Theresa May, do you think that the British government would actually do that?
I don't think they've got the stomach to do that. I don't think they've got the political will to do that. I also see how they pander still relentlessly to these preachers who are on the wrong side of this argument, people who are against the prevent strategy for counter-terrorism, people like Cage, who speak out always in defence of Islam and how great it is, kind of Islamic preachers who speak out about the fact that what we need to be worried about is Islamophobia. We're not worried about that. We do need internment camps. Before, I would have bought the idea that, no, this gets more people radicalised. You know, that's not the solution. But we've gone beyond the tipping point. I tell you, this country cannot take another attack. What we actually needed to hear from Theresa May today when she walked out of Number 10 was never again. That's the words we need to hear to have faith in this country, because I tell you, looking at my email, even liberal left individuals are emailing me to say, I can't tell my friends, but we have got this chronically wrong. I don't know what we're going to do about this country. Well, it's a really upsetting state of affairs.